Today I have a different video. As you can see from the title, it's why I chose to be a CNA, and kind of like the process. It's gonna have a lot of questions that I was looking for when I was looking for information on being a CNA, and a lot of the videos that I saw were kind of not exactly what I was looking for. I wanted like a lot of people felt like were sugarcoating a lot of things, and I felt like there's still a lot that I didn't know going into it. And mainly just my opinion. This is strictly gonna be my opinion, my experience as a CNA, nothing else. So obviously my opinion will probably be different from a lot of other people. I mean, from everybody else's. Everybody has their own opinion. This is just what I've experienced in the past 2.5 years that I've been a CNA. So I hope this video is helpful for anybody out there looking to find more information or just have more of a better idea. Because when I went into CNA, I kind of just went into it like head on, not really knowing. Like I felt like I had an idea of what I thought it was, but I would tell you later in the video exactly a little bit more. This video might end up being like a 2-part video, or maybe even a 3-part video, depending how much I'm able to cover today. Hopefully I'm able to go over a lot. If I seem a little rushed or stumbling on my words, because I'm trying to get it done as quick as I can before my baby wakes up. I was struggling to get him to sleep, and I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna get this video done today, because today is probably like the only day in the week that I have to do this video. I just don't really feel comfortable filming when people are home or when my son is awake, because all my time goes to him, and it's a lot of work to try to film a video. I like gotta set it up, and I still don't have the setup right. Bear with me. Like maybe in a few videos from now I'll have everything like together, but for now I hope this setup, this angle is not too bad. So I'm gonna just try to get right into it. I have my notes right here. This is my notebook that I'm using right now for work to write down like my my work related stuff. So I'm gonna start off first with why, hold on, what made me become a CNA. And this is probably where it's gonna need like another part, definitely, but just to like skim through the main reason why CNA even came to my head is I was in a car accident about 6 years ago. I was in a car accident, and that car accident landed me in a hospital, and I was hospitalized for about 3 months, I believe. This happened when I just turned 21. I'm now 27. I'll be 28 the end of this month. So I was in a car accident, like I said, and it was pretty bad. A pretty bad car accident. But I had a lot of injuries that obviously needed a lot of time to recover from. And when that happened, it was during the time where I kind of had no career, no idea what I wanted to do with my life or my future. And I was kind of just wild. Yeah, I was a little wild, and I was just kind of careless and reckless with my life. And the idea of, I mean, obviously I had ideas and I thought about it, but I never really had anything set in mind that I wanted to do. So when I got in this car accident, obviously I was experiencing the hospital life, and although it was like the worst thing that I feel like anybody could ever go through, it taught me a lot. And one of the main reasons were like the nurses that I had. Those nurses were some of the best. I mean, I've the only nurses I've experienced in my lifetime, but they were so nice, so caring, except for a few that were like just rude, and you felt like they didn't care for you or whatever. But other than that, a lot of the nurses were very caring, very nice. And you know, when you're in the hospital for that long, those people become your family. Like 24 hours I'm there, and my family was there. My mom was there every day, all day, until there was no more visitations. But you know, other than that, they're the ones that are taking care of you, and you're talking to them, and the ones that you lean on, and they actually, like, you know, they make you feel better, and they try to make you feel as good as you can. So sorry. So yeah, one of the main reasons was the nurses. Those nurses, like, really, like, I got really close with about 3 or 4 of my nurses, and it kind of hurt me to leave there. Like, not that I didn't want to, but you know, it was sad to me that I wasn't gonna see them again. But yeah, the nurses were a big factor. And then sorry, I'm trying to read my notes, and so these notes are taken like at 3 in the morning because I work night shift. So my writing is probably a little off, or I'm not making sense. So yeah, pretty much that's the main factor. Like, I had these good nurses, and I was like, you know what? Like, I want to do that for somebody. I want to help them get through their troubles or that obstacle in their life. Because, you know, what if you've never been in a hospital or in the hospital setting where, you know, you deal with the nurses are far more than just nurses. Like, they don't just give you your medicine and leave. Some do, but a lot of them are like your family. Sorry, I need to get water. 1 minute. I really wanted to delete this little part out, but for the life of me, I could not figure it out, and it drove me crazy. Sorry. My throat got dry real quick. So yeah, these nurses are, you know, your companion, like your friend, you know. And if it wasn't for, you know, having those nurses with me, I probably wouldn't have gone through it that easy or that quick as I did, because they were, you know, they became my best friends, you know. So I wanted to be able to do that to somebody. And so going into the idea of becoming a CNA, I had a friend in my life at that point that, you know, asked me, like, what do you want to do with your life? And I was just like, oh, I don't know, you know. This was after the fact I got out of the hospital. I was like, I don't know. I want to be this. I want to be that. Maybe be a nurse. Who knows? And they were a paramedic. And that person told me, you know, like, you should do something. Like, you have a lot you want to do, but you should choose one thing, and you should stick with that. Like, you should be a nurse. So I was like, you know, I feel in my heart I have that desire to be an RN. So I Googled. I was like, you know, what are the steps to becoming an RN? At that point, I didn't have my GED, so so I didn't want to really like jump right into an RN. So I I want to do baby steps. I'm like, what if that's just something I don't want to do in the future, or something I can do? Because I've never been good in school. Like, school has been a struggle for me, and it still is. Although now that I'm older, I feel like I enjoy it a little bit more. Like, I want to learn more. But when you're young, you just don't want to. You don't want to be in school. So, and math is like just my weakest point. So I was like, you know what? I feel like nurses, they need to know their math, and I just suck at that. So, I look up classes, and fortunately, there is a school, a vocational school in my area that does these classes. Sorry, my throat is just real messed up. And the class was about 1,000 something for the whole class, and it was cool. Like, I did the class. Before that, you have to get into you have to take a medical terminology class that is separate. So I took that and I passed it, and you move on to the CNA. So when I was in my medical terminology class, I met a friend, and me and her were both going in to do the CNA. So me and that friend are in the same class. It's her first day of school, our CNA school class, and we have this teacher who's a little older, and she's kind of like real, like, straight to the point, real strict. And so from the first day, like, she was kind of like, I feel like she kind of had it out for me. She gave me attitude. I didn't have a book, because I didn't know I had to get a book, and she gave me shit for not having a book. And yeah, I was just like, me and her just look at each other like, oh gosh, like, this is gonna be a rough semester. So the teacher starts explaining more, like, about, before I get into that, we started the class with about 15 students, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, I'm not quite sure. We started with about 15, I'm gonna say. And by the second day, it went down to probably 8. And finally, it was just 4. Was it 4? Yeah, it was 4 of us students in one classroom. So, yeah, I think that was kind of disappointing in a way, because, like, although you would think it's better because, okay, I'm gonna get all the one-on-one time, I'm gonna learn everything and this and that. I feel like that kind of wasn't the case, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So yeah, the second day, our teacher explains to us more about CNA. She's and one thing that kind of, like, I think my friend that made her quit the class the second day was that the teacher explained that we were going to be pretty much a CNA setting is in geriatrics, which is people 50 and up, like grandpas and grandmas, and we kind of like, we're like, what the heck, like, what does she mean? Like, we're gonna be working in an old people home, that's what we said. And she goes, yeah, CNAs aren't needed in hospitals. Like, you won't really find a job in a hospital. You have to be really lucky to find a job in a hospital. And working with kids, and we're because my friend, I think she wanted to work with kids. She goes, so when do we get to work with kids and this and that? She was like, no. She was like, you're gonna be working with older people. So I think that was a red flag for her that she didn't really expect. Me neither. I was just like, damn. Like, so the more our teacher explained what our job title would, like, consist of, or our scope, I think it was kind of like a big like, eye opener. Like, damn, this is not really what we thought or what we had in mind. But I stuck around. My friend left the second day, and I stayed. I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna quit now. Like, I'm already in this job, I'm already in this class, and I already paid the money. Like, I'm not gonna get my money back, so I'm gonna do this. So yeah, Um, I completed the class, and it was kind of I wouldn't say it was really hard because I passed the class kind of just barely. Like I said, I felt like the teacher had it out for me, and she was kind of making it a little harder for me. Like if I missed one assignment, she was on me and she was like, you got to do all this makeup work and all this stuff. But anyways, so I finished the class, and there was 4 of us, right? One girl wasn't able to proceed with the final steps in taking your CNA. The other girl, I believe she completed it at a later time, and then me and my other classmate went together and we took the test together, and we both passed. And when I passed, I felt so happy and so accomplished of myself, because I've never really accomplished much in my time, and I just felt like I was like, wow, like I got my CNA, like my life, my career starts here. It was a very good feeling for me, specifically because, like I said, like I've never really been good in school, and I never really put too much motivation and too much work in anything much. And yeah, school was Monday to Thursday. I would wake up early in the morning. I would take the bus there and take the bus back, and that was a lot for me to do. Like, it was new, but I was determined. Like, I really wanted this for myself, and I knew I needed it. So yeah, then I passed it. I was happy, and like before I was even done with my class, because it was CNA and home health in one. Like, you get 2 certificates for one price, pretty much. And before I was even done with the second part of my class, I had already like interviewed for a job, and I had it the job lined up. So I started. I think I graduated my class in 2016, and I started my job in I believe it was March, maybe April of 2016. And yeah, so that was very fun. My other classmate that I passed my class with, she went a different route. I believe she went to like the home health route. She was older, so she's already been in home health. She doesn't need her certificate. Like, she had bigger plans for herself. So yeah, now I'm working. I have a job full time, and I'm gonna just get into the pros and cons real quick, and then maybe I'll jump back into what like my first days were. So I'm gonna start with the bad. The cons are rude nurses, low pay, and your patient ratio with the pay. The amount of work you have to do. So I'm in California. This is all like I said, like based on my experience, what I've gone through. Could be different in any state or anywhere else for actually, but the amount of work that you have to do, the stress on you and your body, and then working conditions sometimes. Patience could be a real pain in the butt as well, and your license on the line. Like, from what I hear, I don't know if they just scare you when you're at work or when you're in school, but I feel like it's very easy to lose your license to be a CNA. So rude nurses, I feel like anywhere there's rude people. Some are rude, some are nice, depending how you are, or depending, the people. What I mean by low pay and patient ratio. So my first job as a CNA, I started off at $12. Yeah, $12. And to me, I was like, wow, like I was making money, because I was working a $10 job before that. Actually, it was probably 9, but I didn't make no more than $9 to $10. So $2 more to me, I felt like I was making money. So patient ratio, you get paid. Let's say I got paid $12. You have anywhere from 13 to maybe 24 patients. So you just do the math. Let's say you're getting paid $12, you have 24 patients basically, and you're there for 8 hours depending. Like that's pretty much $1 less a patient, and then all the work you have to do. So I might make another video on what the job consists of. I don't know. This is gonna be all over the place. I'm just doing what I'm going based off my notes right now. So the amount of work, or I'm just gonna answer it. The amount of work. So there's 3 different shifts, or depending if you work in a hospital too. There's 7 to 3 a.m. Or 7:30 to 3:30, depending. Like every place is different. There's 3 to 11, and then there's 11 to 7. When you're working in the morning, I start off in the morning, 7 to 3. When you're working in the morning, you have to get almost all your patients up, dressed, changed, and up in a chair or a wheelchair for breakfast. Okay, and you're sometimes working with a partner, you're sometimes not. When you're not, at the place I was, you have about 13 patients if you're not short-staffed. When you're with a partner, you have about maybe 18 to 24, maybe 30, I'm not sure. I don't really remember. You're working with a partner. So between you guys have to get your patients up, ready for breakfast. Not only that, you have to pass your trays. You have to, when you're passing your trays, your patients would ask you, oh, can I get milk? Can I get water? Can I get salt? So you're constantly going back and forth, back and forth. Then you have to shower your patients. You don't shower them every day. So I believe where I was at, it was every other day patients have a shower. And so you have to shower them, dress them, feed them. Then you get them back in bed, and then they want to go up again. So there's a lot of stuff that happens within your 8 hours, where when I was working in the morning, I lost my appetite. I was so stressed out. I felt like I had the worst experience working in the morning. Like my boss threw me with the worst partner I could like learn from. She was rude. Like she didn't want to help. I was basically like by myself. And when you're in school, they teach you by the book, and nothing is right besides what you learned from the book, and you're gonna be told to not do anything unless it's by the book. And it all sounds nice, and obviously it's like, well, duh, like you shouldn't do anything else. But you'll quickly learn when you're on the floor that you don't have the time to do by the book. You're lucky if you have the time to do everything, you know. Obviously you always should do your job right, safety first, and don't neglect your patients. But there's going to be some things you're going to have to take a shortcut, or you're going to have to like make do with what you got and with the time that you have, because you are limited to time. You start at 7, breakfast is at 8, showers you have to have done by a certain time, then you have to do charting, then you're answering call lights, then you're dealing with family, and you have to take a break somewhere in between that. And you're in the morning, your time does go by fast because you don't even have time to sit down. I lost weight because I was, like I said, I was stressed. I wasn't eating. I was just having a bad time in the morning. So then my boss moved me to the evening, which is 3 to 11. 3 to 11 is a little bit more calmer. You still have showers, you still have lunch and dinner to pass, and you still deal with the same things, but some patients are either back in bed already, or you don't have that many showers to do. It all depends, you know, on what your staffing is like and the patient ratio. So I was in 3 to 11 for a few months, and eventually I just moved to nights, working 11 to 7 in the morning. And that was probably the best choice I had, and I did. Although it was hard to wake up, I mean, to sleep during the day and wake up at night and stay up, but my body got used to it pretty quick. It's been 2 years pretty much that I've been working night shift, and it's hard now because I have a kid, and that is just a whole nother story. But you get used to it, you know. Some people do. So yeah, I said the amount of work, the stress. You know, it is a very stressful job. I think one thing you gotta go into is you're dealing with a lot of different people. Like, you'll meet some nice people, and you'll meet some people that are just like, oh my gosh, like you cry thinking about going into work. There's times where I would, like, on my way to work, I would be sick, like nauseous, like I would just get like, oh my god, I don't want to go into work, like almost cry on my way to work. But you know, I feel like that comes with the job. And then as far as like easy to lose your license, I feel like any little thing could, if you don't do your job right, like you could lose your license. Obviously it depends on your facility and the type of people you work for. But I feel like, let's say for example, I'm gonna make up a scenario. Okay, if you're dealing with the patient that has a trach, like a tube feeding, and you somehow disconnect that and you don't notice, or you panic and you don't call a proper medical staff to do that, and the person like ends up in a hospital or possibly ends up dead, I feel like that could cause you to lose your license. Too many patients falling on your watch. Even things outside of work, like let's say you were to have a DUI, you would lose your license. Or let's say you end up fighting your boyfriend's baby mama outside of the store and you go to jail, you might lose your license. So yeah, that's from what I've been told. I'm not quite sure how that is. Working conditions. So facilities are rated. They're rated numbers 1 through 5, and if you're lucky to work in a 5-star facility, give or take, you're gonna work in a good environment. And if you work in a 1, 2, maybe 3-star facility, I mean, they're rated low for a reason. I've been on both ends. I've worked at a 5-star and I've worked at a 2-star facility, and the 2-star, you could definitely tell that it's a 2-star facility. It's dirty. If you don't have the materials you need to do your job, yeah, I won't really get too much into all that. My phone's almost about to die and I don't want to miss anything. So I'm going to go to the pros. I'm going to go through them, and then I'm going to explain a little bit from each of them, if I haven't already. Okay, so the pros are, there's always work as CNA. There's different shifts. Like I said, there's 3 different shifts, or 2. You're caring and you're helping for people. If that is a passion and that is something that you're interested in, I mean, this is a good job. This is good experience for other medical careers. Like if you want to be anything in the medical field that has to do with patient care, this is a good stepping stone to get into that. And yeah, I said different hours to work. So you work 8 hours, 10 hours, or 12 hours. It all depends. So yeah, CNA, there's always work. You could go anywhere and you're gonna find a job. CNAs are always needed. People are always short. Sorry, I just got a weird message. Okay. Anyways, there's always work. There's different shifts. If you have a kid like me, for me right now, it's easier to work 11 to 7 only because I spend all day with my kid, and at night his dad is with him. So it's hard, it's very hard now to have to leave him, or, I don't get the adequate amount of sleep. But for now, that is the best. There's in the morning, some people that have kids or anything rather go to work in the morning, then they pick up their kid after work. So that works pretty good. Sorry, I just got like that message just threw me off. Yeah, so that is pretty much a rundown of why I chose to become a CNA and different things I've experienced. Another thing, this is something that you learn in class and how to do it, but I don't really think it's anything that you're really prepared until you experience it, and that is post-mortem, which is like a patient dying. I've experienced about 5 or 6 post-mortem care for a patient, and honestly, to me, I don't feel scared. Like, it's not nothing like I'm scared. I've had patients, I've had coworkers where they won't enter that room, or they've had a real hard time where they cried. For me, it's something like I don't know, it doesn't scare me, I guess. I actually find it a little bit peaceful. Like, you've cared for this patient, and now that they've passed on, you will try, like, you're there, like, you're caring for them, you're cleaning them up. That's their last day, sadly. But that's another thing that I think that comes with the job, and a lot of people is like they're not aware of, or they just don't expect it. Obviously, you don't expect somebody passing on, but that's a real big thing that I think you have to prepare for, especially because most of the time you do the cleaning. Like, you would clean them up, get them ready for the morgue, or for the family to view them. So that's one thing. Another thing that I felt like I wasn't really made aware of is how much work there was going to be. Like, I did not expect, gosh, okay, so you go in, you start your round, and you change your patients, you reposition them. Not only that, but there's call lights. Like, call lights are non-stop sometimes, and that is the worst. When you answer your call light and your patient, right when you walk out the room, beep, like they're calling you all over again for a whole nother thing that they could have let you know while you're in their room. You know what, I do want to make this video probably another 2 parts. The other part will be a little bit more about my car accident. Definitely want to make a video about that. And another part will probably be, if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. If this video was any help for you, or you learned anything from this video, or if you have any questions, if you're a CNA or you're trying to be a CNA, and you have questions, let me know. Feel free to message me or comment me. I will leave my Instagram that I have for this page in the description. And there was a lot more I wanted to talk about, but I feel like my phone's about to die, my son's about to wake up, and my husband's about to come home from work, and I want to wrap this up, which I'm sorry, but hopefully another day I'll be able to get the other videos up for you. And once again, thank you for watching this video. I really hope it was somewhat a help for you. I know it was all over the place, but that is me, that's my brain. And yeah, so let me know. Till next time, bye.